I thought for every year you get in the big leagues, you lose one of your options. But maybe he might only be a
Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the newest edition of the Bronx Muchachos Podcast. I'm your host, Mark, and tonight we got a whole group of people together. We got Alex.
Hola.
We got the Sandman himself, Scott Sanders. Scott, what's happening, brother?
What's happening, fellas? Thanks for having me.
And last but certainly not least, we got my main man, Dave. Dave, what's happening, bro?
What's happening, everybody? So before we get down to the nitty-gritty, you know what to do. Hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. Ring that bell for post notifications so you get notified when we go live like tonight. And don't forget to follow us on our social media at Bronx Muchachos 1 on X and on Instagram at Bronx Muchachos Podcast. Same thing on TikTok.
Absolutely. And guys, if you guys just want to listen to us, you know where we're at. We're on all audio platforms. Apple, Spotify, Amazon, you name it, we're over there. Just go check us out there. Give us a 5-star review. Let us know what you're thinking about the show. All right. So there is so much to get into. There is so many moving parts going on.
It's been a week.
We start off the week with none other than the return of the Martian. J-Dom getting called up after he's been tearing the cover off the ball in AAA. And no sooner than he gets called up than game 3, he gets beamed in the elbow and he is possibly down. So that is currently unknown what's going to happen to him as we speak at this present moment. But being called up, he was 1 for 10, 1 for 11, something like that.
9.
He was, 1 for 9. But he wasn't. The few innings he was in left field, he didn't look too bad. Made a couple plays. Listen. I think the more and more he stays up in the big leagues, hopefully it's just a bruise that he's there on that elbow, that he will come back in the next series, and he will continue on. So I'm throwing it out to everybody else. Anybody's got anything to add to that one? He was kind of up for a short-term possible move.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. When he came back, I was hoping that, it is a good thing that he was back, but it's just unfortunate he got plunked in the elbow with a fastball that kind of got away from, I forget who was even pitching, but it was good to see him back. Obviously, you don't want to see him get hurt, given the fact that we lost Stanton to his usual annual lower body soft tissue nonsense because he's wound so tight. But yeah, unfortunate series of events, and don't know if he's going to go to the IL and if they bring Volpe back to replace him, or if they go the other route and decide to bring up Spencer Jones to replace J-Dom. So it's going to be interesting to see how this shakes out. Max Schulman is not the answer to replacing Domínguez, obviously. So definitely going to be interesting to see how this all shakes out.
No, you are definitely right about like how it's going to shake up. And the person I believe it was Nathan
Evaldi.
Yeah, there we go. That's what it was that hit him. So yeah, but it is what it is. It was a very short stint. And when it comes to being tight run, like, hey, yes, but you got to give it a stand, okay? He actually has stolen a base this year. He's actually trying to run. So give it to him, Mr. Tight Round. He's trying to show us all that he could actually run. So, hey, he might have got injured from running, but it is what it is. But, yeah, it sucks. And it sucks for J-Dom, but what makes it great is that it's also showing the depth that we have in the system right now in the farm system. So I'm not really into much of a worry. I mean, like, I wish we will be moving on to the correct way, but it's not going to work out, especially with us also benching at times. Grisham when he's not hitting right at times. You know, they're having this thing that everyone's running on full cylinders. So, like, they could legitimately bench players that have not been performing, which they don't do at a normal pace anyway. Like, let's be real.
Now this year's especially, they've kind of. I always say it's Boone, so I'll give Boone credit. Like, it has been a more consistent lineup this year. I'll give him credit for having a more consistent lineup that should turn into more wins, because that's what we've seen in the past. Sometimes does he still, kind of rely on the same people that you wish that he wasn't relying on? Yeah. But then again, I mean, we kind of crapped on a lot of guys, and they're starting to turn the corner as well. So, I mean, hopefully we'll see what happens. I mean, yeah, is Grisham's looks like he's turning the corner? Maybe. Has he just changed the way he's doing things? Possibly as well. Like, being the leadoff man, he's not going for all the home runs. He's going for maybe more power, and he's going to be more of a 3 outcome type of player: walk, strikeout, or home run. But the home runs aren't really there. So we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of baseball left to be played, and a lot of moves to be made. Speaking of another move, what comes up must come down, which is nothing other than Luis Gil being sent back down to AAA. Now they don't need another. I believe they don't need another starting pitcher for another week or so.
May 5th.
Right. So
next Tuesday.
They kind of set it up in a nice little spot where, hey, he made a start. They sent him down. They continue on with the way things are going. Luis Gil's kind of always been the odd man out, any which way, shape, or form you're looking at it. He wasn't they weren't going to move Weathers before Gil. They weren't moving Will Warren before Gil. Obviously, Schlittler and Fried are locks into their positions. So I said it before. I wish last year they made a deal to turn around and get send Gil down to Houston to get to Kyle Tucker. So,
and when it comes to the whole Luis Gil, I don't see him coming back up either. I really see I see Elmer going to go play that next start again. Like, I don't see it's going to.
Well, they said Elmer's going to get 2 more starts. Elmer's staying up. Elmer's staying up until
Rodon comes
look
back.
at that. I didn't even know that, and I'm over here just off the top of my head. I'm like, I would rather. I don't see a reason for Gil to come back up right now, since he's playing a 6 ERA. Like, there's no reason for him to be up right now playing when you could have Elmer. Yeah, yesterday he didn't do as lights out and blah blah blah, but for the amount of pitches he did, and for the situation that he got himself put into, he did very, very well. Okay. At one point he had bases loaded twice in the game, but the first one 2 outs, the last one was his last inning. But throughout that whole time frame, you could tell it was more nerves and less about he doesn't have it.
Yeah.
So that's something you can work on over Gil that has no control.
And big shout out to Daniel Barries. What's up, brother? Thanks for joining in and going and joining the chat. Let us know anything you're thinking over there, brother. But Alex, you're right. I mean, Luis Gil. I will say this. I'm gonna step back on one thing you were saying. I do think Luis Gil comes back, but he comes back in the bullpen. He doesn't come back as a starter. All right, because the bullpen.
I could agree with you there.
Yeah, because the bullpen, we're having there's little snafus that are going on in the bullpen. I can see him going to bullpen, whether it's a long reliever, whether it's middle relief. Maybe you give him like a 2 to 3. Maybe you give him like a 2-inning type of spot there and let him go and just turn around and say, you know what, it's fastball sliders from you from this point forward. There's no third, fourth pitch. I mean, he kind of had problems with his third pitch to begin with, but hey, you're just using these 2 and just go for it. And the fastball will take up a little bit more. Scott, you can definitely jump in on talking about this changeover.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, I think they're going to put him back in the as a starter, probably in AAA, just in case, But I definitely see him come back. He's going to definitely probably be a bullpen piece. I mean, unless somebody's got to get hurt, probably two guys got to get hurt because obviously with Rondon and Cole coming back, I mean, you got plenty of starters. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'll be honest. If you think about it, when he's on, he'd be a nice little setup or closer piece. Like you said, 2-pitch pitcher. That's all he's got to focus on. Come out. I think it'd be better for his body. Because he's so thin, man. It's hard to be. I'm not saying you can't do it. You can't be that thin and be a starting pitcher. It's just really hard on your body. They have guys who have done it, but you look at your average guy out there, on the mound starting. Not many look like him. It's just he's probably better fit for the bullpen anyway. If not, hey, they need to get him back up. Let him have some successful innings, and you get rid of him and get something for him. It's one or the other. You either put him in the bullpen or you trade him off for something.
I agree. Definitely agree there.
And he's gonna probably be one of those pieces that that will be going away right around the trade deadline anyway. Like, depending on what the team needs at the trade deadline, I would not be shocked if there's some sort of package made with him in it.
One thing I will say about this week, the one thing I've been impressed with is how aggressive the organization has been. Like, even like Jeremy was saying, with bringing up Elmer to get the start, and even going as far as promoting George Lombard Jr. to AAA Scranton. So I like the fact that they're being aggressive with moving pieces around and trying to find a solution that works, rather than just keep doing the same old same and hope that it corrects itself, and then you're moving pieces around when it's too late. So kudos to the front office for not being afraid to, one, use prospects and put guys in better positions to excel up the food chain, so to speak.
No, definitely. No, you guys are right about that. And Scott, I kind of want to throw it back to you, talking about more about Elmer Rodriguez. You were mentioned before about the smaller frame. I don't know if you had a chance to look at him. He's a smaller framed kind of guy. He's I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's 6'3", but 160 pounds.
Yeah.
What do you like? What do you think is some of the things for longevity purposes? What would you think? What are some of the things you would expect for him to kind of do so that he can go maybe to be a 200 inning kind of guy for a X amount of years, or try to limit the injuries?
Yeah, well, the thing about it is, it's just such wear and tear on the body. When you're really getting out there logging 5.5 to 6 to 7 innings, every 5 days. And the thing, he's young. I mean, what is he, 20, 21, 22-ish?
22.
Yeah, 22. Okay, 22. So, I mean, he's going to put some weight on naturally. It might not come until he's 25. So, the key is to try to get from that 22 to, say, 24, 25, when his metabolism is going to slow down. He's going to go from weighing 165, let's call it 175, right? Maybe 180, whatever he is, to get to closer to 200. 200 pounds is just, it's like anything else. I put it to just like you're talking a heavyweight boxer against a lightweight boxer. Can a lightweight beat him? Sure. But if that heavyweight lands one punch, what happens to that lightweight? You know what I mean? It's just your body, you know what I mean? Your body's not built, a pitcher's body. So when I played, I was 6'4", 230 pounds. That's an average major league size for a pitcher, which, think about that. That's average. I mean, I'm a big old dude, but so it's just, I'll be honest, you just got to find a way to stay healthy. And they're going to have to be very careful living his pitches. They're going to have to almost do like they do in the minor leagues, 85, 90 pitches, 5 innings, get him out. But when you do that, it taxes your bullpen, man. It's hard to do that in the big leagues. You can do it in the minor leagues because they really don't care if they win or lose. They want to win, but they don't care if they lose. The big leagues, and with the pinstripes, they care if you lose. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
No, 100%. And a big shout out to our man, Roman Rodriguez. Roman, what's happening, brother? Thanks for watching the show. Thanks for chiming in as well. Dave, you kind of jumped the gun a little bit and talked about George Lombard Jr. It's all good, but let's go. Let's keep it going. Let's go down this road. I've said it I've said it. I'm going to keep saying it. Our shortstop of the future, George Lombard Jr. And I want to piggyback this probably with our favorite conversation, talking about Anthony Volpe. Obviously, you can't talk about one without the other. But George Lombard Jr., he killing another guy, killing in the minor leagues. He was killing it in Double A, and got the promotion to Triple A, where he will be playing shortstop and getting a little bit of time at third base. Well deserved. I mean, he spent the offseason doing the things he needed to do. And the major thing for George Lombard Jr. was his defense is big league ready. The offense is what was lacking. He showed up to Double A and put the muscle on and was doing all the things that he needed, hitting for power, hitting extra bases, doing all those things while playing stellar defense. I mean, listen, sky's the limit for the kid. I can't see him not being on the big league roster come next season. Even, whatever the case may be. At some point, he's going to be on the big league roster next season. I'm hoping he breaks camp with the team. Because he's going to get almost damn well a full season of AAA under his belt now. So, Dave, you brought him up. So give me your thoughts.
I think next year is probable, but the way he's been trajecting, if things start going sideways in New York and he is absolutely murdering AAA come June, July, I don't think they keep him down there. I don't.
I do, and here's the reason why.
If he forces their hand, if he plays so damn good that he forces their hand, like I said, something would seriously have to go wrong in New York for this to even be a thought in anybody in the front office's mind. But the way he's been trajecting, I could see there's a very slim possibility that it would happen, but I would agree with you that 2027, if there's a season, would definitely be it.
So here's my pushback on what you're saying about this season. We have seen the problems that you had when you push somebody up too fast. Anthony Volpe is on the other side of the coin, is the reason why the Yankees are not going to push him up this season. Anthony Volpe was not ready for Major League Baseball. It has been shown time and time again over 3 seasons that the kid was not ready for being up here. Too many holes in his game. They're going to take George Lombard Jr. and they're doing this now with all the rest of their prospects. They're kind of taking a step backwards. They were taking a step backwards this year with Jasson Domínguez. They're taking a nice long step with this for Spencer Jones. They're going to do this with George Lombard Jr. as well. That they are going to give him the time in AAA to turn around master AAA or come close to taking it instead of having a week in AAA. 10 games in AAA, whatever the case may be, and then bring him up. He's going to have time in AAA to work there because that is where you will get major league pitching. So he's going to see major league pitching there and then make the jump. It's not going to be a month from now or 2 months from now. I think if he gets a cup of coffee at the end of the season, then I think so. But I definitely think it's going to be 2027. I think the Anthony Volpe effect is going to be that they're going to pause and not rush everybody too much. They're going to make sure that everyone gets their time in and then move forward.
I'm gonna tell you what I think is going to happen. If he the only thing I think that could stop this from happening is a possible lockout. But I think if he goes, obviously he was going off in Double A. I think if he goes off in AAA and is really say average or even better than average, or if he's obviously super great, I think they're going to call him up in September to get him a sniff, let him taste it, may play a little bit, mainly just to kind of hang around, possibly. Now, you only get so many guys. You don't get the call. You get call up one position player, one pitcher. So is it Spencer Jones or is it him, right? Or so that's going to be a tricky thing. But I think they have more stock in him going forward because obviously he's young and but That could not happen only because of the lockout, because they might not want to start his service time with in him being in the big leagues when everything ends. So I don't know, but that'll be interesting because if take for example, if he ends the year in the big leagues and then they don't start the season until May, and he's been on that roster the whole time, he might get credit for service time for that. But I don't know how all that's going to work. But I think in a perfect world, they'd like to get him a sniff in September and to give him a chance to make the team out of spring training in 2027, which he may not, but at least go to AAA for the first month of the season and call up and roll with him. But his dad's a big leaguer. He grew up around baseball. I wouldn't really compare him to Volpe because when you grow up in the house of a Major League Baseball player, you're a different breed. I'm not saying that every player's kid makes it to the big leagues or is good enough to play professional baseball, because I had 3 boys, only one of them did, but when you have that talent along with living in that household and being mentored by your dad and also your dad's friends and all these other things, the kid's going to be different. He's they're going to forget about Volpe. Hey, listen, a lot of things can happen, but if he stays on the trajectory and the path, they're going to forget about Volpe quick in the Bronx.
All right.
When I saw him in spring training, I'm not saying skill wise he's Derek Jeter, but he physically looking, he looks like Jeter, like the build, the swing, all of it.
That's because they're the same height.
I know, but
who knows? Maybe Jeter's giving him points. I mean, they both live down in
I
Miami.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but like we like. This whole thing about like he's gonna look closer to Jerry, yeah, because he's taller. Volpe is a shorty. Let's be real. He's a shorty. He is the shorty of shortstops that got put there to play that position. Okay, but like when it comes to this whole thing that everyone's like, okay, for Volpe, like let's be real. I don't even see if Volpe going to come up anyway. For the fact of the matter that at this particular point right now, who has the best in the shortstop position in the American League, because I'm not looking at the National League, who has the best defense? It is freaking Jose Caballero.
Well,
okay?
So
he has a plus
number
6
2.
Number 2, Bobby Witt Jr. is number 1 with 6 defensive runs saved to Caballero's 5.
Caballero has 6 defensive runs saved.
Oh, and then he just went up. It just went up.
It went up because during the game yesterday they were talking about this, and it was Witt Jr. and Caballero.
So he's tied for best. Okay, he's tied for or has the best one right now. Why would we put Volpe in there then? Okay, he's not going to be there. Now, the George Lombard Jr. factor, I like that one very much so. And if it could happen this year, it would be cool because then Jose Caballero could easily then just go right to third base. Okay, and then let George be on shortstop. It's pretty simple right there at that point. But the Volpe train, I'm done with that experiment, guys. I'm done.
Thank you.
I don't even want to hear his name no more.
Thank you very.
Well, until he's no longer here.
Is he on the team right now? Is he up there or is he minor?
Still in the organization?
There. He is not there right now.
He's on the 40. Technically, he's on the roster.
So Alex, going back to what you were saying about you were saying something about Volpe before. So Bob Kaplis said something, was writing something earlier. One of the things he said was, if anyone were to blame about in regards to Volpe, it's Boone and Cashman who continued to prop up Volpe as the next superstar. The Yankees' stubbornness turned into arrogance. The front office refused to admit it's a mistake in promoting Volpe into the big leagues with only limited time in AAA. So that kind of goes back to what I was saying before about George Lombard Jr., where I think that they're rectifying a lot of mistakes that they're doing.
But to counter that, okay, I've been wanting to counter that one. Thank you for bringing that one back up. But to counter that is, yes, they brought up Volpe way too soon. But look at it right now. They are also being more aggressive. We've already mentioned it, that they're being more aggressive this season. They have been on previous seasons. So they're not really playing those games of like, oh, let's wait and all kind of stuff. They're bringing up a 22-year-old to pitch already in the big leagues. They're working up the way to not let their talents rot in the minors and seeing what they could do as soon as they can to give them that taste of it, so that way they could move on. Because guess what? The Volpe train, it did. The Volpe experiment, it might not have worked out to bring it up too early, but guess what? It gave us that information that we needed to know as soon as possible, and now we know it.
But
that's pretty.
But the pushback is that the Yankees were so stubborn that they could have listened. They could have sent Volpe back down to minors in his first season when he was crap in the bed.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong that they're stubborn about it. But let's be real on the all fact of it. Okay, all 4 of us are stubborn individuals, and none of us can agree on any situation that we want to do with the team either. If us 4 that are friends can't figure out what we want to do with the team, people who are getting paid millions of dollars to figure this out are not figuring it out either.
And I think we all agree that Volpe should be skyrocketed somewhere.
The other thing too about this too,
but let's be real. How long did it take for us to all come to that agreement? Okay, Mark, you were on a boat, on a sinking boat by yourself until somehow, some way, this sinking boat landed on a whale and is now up floating to safety.
And I'm sitting here with cigars and mojitos, sitting there watching everyone jump in.
You're not wrong, but none of us agreed with you 3-4 years ago.
And the other thing too, yes, they could have sent him down in 2023 when he was crapping the bed, but they had nobody to replace him. They didn't have an option at shortstop because they put all their eggs in his basket. There was no other option but him.
They had.
Well, they had Peraza. Yes, they had
Peraza.
Cabrera,
you had
yes.
IKF. You had Cabrera.
Yeah,
but you're saying they didn't have options. They had options. They chose not to do this. They chose that they said he's going to be the guy come hell or high water. I don't listen. I know we go down this rabbit hole. We don't have to go down the rabbit hole, but the idea is that they did have the options. It could have been 2 weeks. That's all you needed. 2 weeks. You could have changed it up for 2 weeks. But they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to kill. If they didn't want to kill the confidence, they didn't want to kill the golden goose because they thought he was going to be the next thing. Like Jesus Christ, just because of a picture with Jeter that he had to be the dude. That's what it came down to. Kid from Jersey who didn't want to be anything but the shortstop for the Yankees. That's it.
Hey, be happy. You know what? At the end of the day, if I'm Anthony Volpe, even if I am cut from the team and I'm not gonna make it back to the Yankees, I'm gonna be somewhere else. Guess what? I lived out my boyhood dream of playing shortstop for the Yankees. At the end of the day, I might be an ESPN analysis, but guess what? I could say I played for the New York Yankees. I almost said that bomb. I did good, Jeremy. Doing good, sir.
And hey guys, the thing is, he could come back refreshed because obviously this injury, obviously nobody wants to get hurt, but sometimes injuries like that are a blessing because he got a little bit break. He didn't have to start opening day. Going to roll back out, and they could coming back off injury. They can slow play him back into Obviously, they always say you shouldn't lose your job due to injury, but hey, baseball is just like any other job. You know what I mean? If you actually got hurt nowadays, and the guy ahead of you, like he's doing now, Caballero or whatever, is doing what he's doing, you lose your job. But they can slow play him in there.
It won't be broadcast yesterday.
It won't be the pressure on him of saying, I'm the Yankee shortstop. It's all on my back. You sink or swim with me. Now he has a backup that if he has 2 bad games, he sits against a good right-hand pitcher. You know what I mean? Maybe he don't have to face, Kevin Gausman, right? He doesn't have to face some of those guys that he's gonna suck on an 0 for 3. You know what I mean? Just hope he don't make any errors. But so it can start playing more matchups possibly, and take a little pressure off him. And guess what? Who knows? He may go back to that prospect coming up through the minor leagues of the next Derek Jeter, which there's not another Derek Jeter, but that's what they called him. So but this could be a blessing in disguise, and obviously we just have to wait and see.
I mean,
you're right about that.
Like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about you can't lose. You shouldn't lose your job to injury. But I'm gonna ask Dave, what did Drew Bledsoe say about that one? Last time I checked, Drew Bledsoe, he didn't like that injury.
Yeah.
Well,
a guy named Tom Brady took that job away.
100%.
I have said this for 25 years now. All of us in New England loved Drew Bledsoe. Drew Bledsoe was God for the New England Patriots. But as horrible as it was to see Drew take that hit and nearly lose his life from having his lung punctured, we would not have had Tom Brady. The Patriots probably would have still been in the basement of the NFL. Instead, we ended up with this freaking 18-year dynasty that was glorious. So yeah, it happens. It sucked because Drew had just signed a 10-year, $135 million contract or something ridiculous. But I mean, we ended up with Tom Brady. So, I mean, it sucked at the time, but had it never happened, Tom Brady probably never takes a snap in the NFL, if not with the Patriots.
100%. Just imagine if he could have went somewhere else and nobody would have gave him a shot. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You just never know. But like
and
I
he
said,
was a fourth-string quarterback.
Yeah. I'll be honest. So, I mean, I think this is going to be a blessing in disguise for not only Yankees but for Volpe. And obviously, if he doesn't do it, then they know, okay, it's time to move on, or he just becomes a utility guy. You know what I mean? And maybe he's just a really good utility guy. But they have to figure that one out. You know, what's best for camaraderie, what's best for the team. Obviously, you know, I'm sure a lot of guys on the team probably like him. So, you know, they're looking for him to coming back, all that good stuff. But hey, it'll be interesting. But like I said, it's I think it's going to be a blessing in disguise, and he can settle in and maybe not have as much pressure on him to have to be the guy.
True. And, you know, I'm actually, in a positive note, I'm actually intrigued to see how the new swing from Volpe is going to play out, because all the reports are that he's leveled off his swing. It's not this uppercut swing anymore, which had huge holes in it. So I'm hoping that the Alex Rodriguez advice is finally coming to fruition, that he will be the line drive, gap to gap hit player. Let his feet, let his wheels kind of be the star. You know, Alex, I know you've said this before in the past. We've had, you know, Dave, we had that before when we did with Jeremy, we did the State of the Union of the Yankees. And I said before, you know, Volpe's injury I've said before that Volpe's injury would be a blessing in disguise for him, because it will get him out of this being a home run happy kind of player, thinking that he's a power hitter. It should go back, should be a gap to gap, hitting that way. So, you know, I also think the Yankees are going to do everything they can to give him as many options and possibilities as tries as possible.
So with a stat update with Volpe, 4 games at Scranton Wilkes-Barre, 15 plate appearances, 15 at bats, 3 runs scored, 4 hits, 1 of them being a home run, 3 RBIs, no stolen bases, 4 strikeouts, batting .267, OBP .267, slugging .467, and an OPS of .733.
What about his time at Double A? Because he went back down to Double A.
6 games, no home runs, 6 hits, 2 stolen bases, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, batting .333. OBP 368, slugging .333, and an OPS of 702.
What's his defensive stats?
Let me see.
Because you know
Fielding.
what? I don't even care. At this point, I'm not even caring about the hit.
He's got
That's
a 900 fielding percentage in AAA and 1,000 fielding percentage in AA.
How? When we've already seen videos of him doing so many bad things.
They must have credited those balls that went off his glove as hits.
Yeah, they do that a lot in minor leagues. It's a joke.
I was about to say, because like we all saw it. We seen
they were bad
balls that had been hit off his glove, and he just missed it.
Let me tell you, the minor league, the statisticians in the minor leagues, when I tell you weak, they are weak. They give everything's a hit. It's got to go through your legs for it not to be a hit. Drives me nuts.
I can see why it could drive you nuts, because like as us looking at it right now, for someone that we've all seen the video, we've all put it into our own personal group chat, that we saw how Volpe has so many what should be errors, and now that you're saying this, it's like
some of them were some weak hit balls too, and it was like, I don't know about this.
And how about that one? That of the one that he gets, and he underhands it, but he underhands it so softly that it took 10 years to get to second base.
Yeah.
I want to answer
no double play.
I want to answer one of Roman's questions he put out there for us. He goes, if Volpe's not your guy, if Lombard's doing great, but what if he doesn't pan out? Who's the answer for the Yankees if both Volpe and Lombard don't work out?
For this season?
For eternity.
Oh, let's take the next couple of seasons, right? Let's take this season. Let's take next season, right? Because you can't look that far in the future. So I say at least next 2 seasons. Okay. You still got Caballero on your team.
Exactly. That's how and that's my thing. I'm looking up how long we're keeping Caballero for. That's why
he's got this year and next year, and then he's a free agent.
Yeah. So you got Cabby. Yeah. You have a couple. You got some other guys that are coming around. You have a guy, I'm going to say reclamation project in Marco Luciano. If the name doesn't sound familiar, he used to be a top prospect for the San Francisco Giants. Didn't really do too well for them. He is now killing it also in Double-A as a second baseman, but he is killing it in Double-A, and I can't wait for him to get the call up to Triple-A as well. He's only 24 years old. Further down the line, you have a Dax Kilby who's going to be in high A ball, but he's working on it. He's dealing with an injury right now, so that's kind of that pushes his time frame back a little bit further. But I do see that you will have. I think that if Volpe, here's what in truthful, this is what I think. I think that this is Jazz Chisholm's last year as a Yankee. I think you move Anthony Volpe to second base. You let George Lombard Jr. be the shortstop as of next year. That's what I think the plan should be. If something goes wrong along the way, you have Caballero to step in for in any one of those spots. And I think keeping Caballero is going to be is a key in the cog. And then further down, if there's still another problem, you have a Oswaldo Cabrera that can kind of spot start as well.
Yep.
And there's always a chance they might go out and get somebody too, you know. I think.
But I'm just kind of thinking. I'm just saying who's on the roster right now.
100%. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's my point. Is if you give all these 3-4 guys chances, and after a year and a half, 2 years, they all shit the bed. It's like, hey, then you go out and find somebody. You know what I mean? You find a veteran, just a stopgap until Lombard can play second base for a year, get comfortable, let him learn, slide him over a little bit, slide him over a little bit, then slide him over more. Next you know, he's doing. You know what I mean? And he then becomes your everyday guy.
It's a shame. It's a shame. There's no trading draft picks, man. I would love to see the Yankees trade up in this draft this year. The amount of high school shortstops coming out this year is wild.
Trade.
They got some good college
draft picks.
Not first round picks.
Yeah, they got some good college shortstops coming out too, man.
They do. There's the amount of shortstops. And mind you, this draft also, you have George Lombard's brother Jacob coming into in this draft too, and Jacobs is a legit spec. So that, like you were saying before, like the family in and of itself is like those two kids got a good shot at going.
Yes. I mean, like I said, when you just grew up in a house like that, you just have so many more things at your fingertips, and it's not always about hitting and running and pitching and throwing all that. It's about the mental side and how to handle the ups, how to handle the downs. You know, how to push when not to push when, because some days you got to back off. You know what I mean? You can't just always beat your body down. You can't just always abuse your body. Some days you got to back off, and it might be 50 swings in the cage instead of 150. You know, so the mental side is the kid's going to be. He's just going to be way more. He should be. I don't know the kid, obviously, but he should be way more mature mentally in the game of baseball than most kids his age. Is my point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they showed the video of him getting, when they're calling him up from Double-A to Triple-A, and they're going, "Oh, you ready to? How you feeling?" He goes, "I'm good." He goes, "Yo, you look a little beat up." He goes, "No, you got a doubleheader tomorrow. Oh, I can play a doubleheader. I'm good to go."
Yeah.
So, I
saw that.
That's right. That's right, Jeremy. Dirt Roads to Bright Lights. That's one of our newer shows that we have on the channel. Myself, Roman, a few other guys that are part of the channel. We cover prospects, so we check that out Monday nights. We'll be going over a bunch of that kind of stuff. Minor leaguers draft coverage, especially coming up soon. So, the little plug for us right there. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, I mean, we were mentioning it before. I mean, you got Elmer Rodriguez that's come up. You got George Lombard now in AAA. You got Spencer Jones sitting there in AAA. And right now he is doing a lot better than he has been from the start of the season. You still got Carlos Legrand in AAA doing his thing. You've got other guys that are coming around. You have I think Ben Hess is injured, if I'm not mistaken. But the Yankees have their pitching. They're coming around with the pitching. So that's going to be leading the charge, and then you're gonna start filling in position players along the way as well. So,
real quick, one thing about it, they had a kid that came to LSU a few years back. It was a great kid. I got to know him pretty well. It was Eric Reiselman. He's been doing well for you guys in AAA, right?
He was in AAA. I have to double check where he's at right now.
I know I'd read an article saying that
you guys keep talking.
Because he transferred in from California, I think it was LSU for 1 year. But I saw the other day, I saw an article somewhere. It was on Twitter. It was saying it sounded like he was in the back end of the bullpen in AAA, I guess, and had a chance to maybe come up at some point and make an impact.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him.
Yeah, he's a really good kid.
He's in AA right now.
Okay, it's in AA. Okay.
He's over in he's in some. Yeah, he's in Somerset.
Okay, because he's probably about in year 3 now of pro ball, if I had to guess. So probably his second full year, maybe his third.
He was drafted. He was drafted in 22.
Was 22? What's up for 22? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He's this year. His stats this year are he's 1. Yeah. This year he's 1-1 with a 3.6 ERA. I mean, he's not a starter. He's a relief pitcher.
Yeah,
he's been in 8 games. He's got 10 innings with 18 strikeouts and a 0.9 WHIP.
Yeah, so that's what it is. I knew they said he had a boatload of strikeouts.
Wow. So I just looked at Sport Track right now.
Out of Louisiana, from Louisiana State.
Yeah, yep, LSU.
So I was looking on Sport Track right now to see what are the trade candidates anyway, trying to find out who might what and everything in the world in baseball. But what they're saying right now currently for the Yankees, what we are possibly who are on the trade block is Jazz, Anthony, and J-Dom. So yeah, those are the 3 people that they have in the sights to be possibly traded if the trade does happen.
Makes sense.
It really does.
I can see that. I mean, I think that there has to be a bigger trade. Listen, my personal opinion, they're going to have to trade Volpe. It's either they're going to be selling low on Volpe, they're selling low on J-Dom. So I mean, they won't get the value back for either one of them, to be honest with you, or whatever value you believe that they have. So.
Yeah, I don't think they get rid of Volpe and Jazz, but I think they'll get rid of one of them at some point if Volpe comes back. If Volpe comes back and is actually serviceable, I think Chisholm's definitely gonna be moved. Because I mean, I think they're hoping that he does something pretty well, and then they get some type of asset back for him.
I could see that. Yes, I could see that. But then again, when Jazz gets hot, he is hot. When Volpe gets hot, it's more like, oh wow, the heater turned on finally. Like
when Volpe gets hot, it's like it's for a week, and then he dumps down again.
But the other thing though is sometimes Chisholm can be a kind of a I want to say it.
I agree.
Loose cannon.
I mean, he can be a detriment too. You know what I mean? So I think
very much so.
The one thing you get in Volpe is
getting all these challenges that he's been doing. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but the one that those challenges they should fine him for that, to be honest. But the one thing I think they do
the kangaroo court.
I think they should do more than that, but because some of those balls he's challenging is like that's embarrassing and it's selfish. But the one thing I know for sure that the Yankees love about Volpe is he's a professional. You know what I mean? And that's the one thing. That's the one thing the Yankees always they like to honor. They like the professionalism, and that's why I know for a fact they want it to work for him. You know, and I know it drives you guys nuts, But when you have a kid like that who shows up, does the right things, says the right things, and then goes out and obviously underperforms, everybody kills on him. You know what I mean? But at the same day, like, man, I want this kid to make it. I want this kid to get a shot. So he's going to get more shots than any of the fans want him to have, to be honest.
So let me ask this question then. We're talking about getting shots and whatnot. Whether J-Dom goes on the IL, we kind of touched on this earlier. Do we think that Spencer Jones gets a shot this year?
To me, that's a hard one. It depends on if somebody gets hurt out there, Because the thing about it
ends up on the IL, it probably happens. Because they got to see if this kid can play. They have to see if he can.
They already know he can't. He cannot hit. He strikes out way too much. They're not good. Like, even bringing him up is not worth it. We've all seen the tapes that he strikes out too much down there in the minors. If he's striking out too much in the minors, he's gonna strike out even worse in the pros.
Yeah, but not to compare the two, but then he comes into spring training before that and crushes it, goes to play every day in minor league baseball and does okay-ish. I'm just saying, like, it's worth a shot. What do you got to lose? He shits the bed, you send him back to AAA. Now you know he can't play in the major league.
No,
it's going to hurt his trade value? Probably.
What's the greatest thing to do right now is to keep him out there in AAA. So then that way, somebody wants a trade target. They don't know how bad he is because we keep it on the wraps on the down low, and then we trade away. Let someone else take it.
There's major league scouts going to his games to see what he can and cannot do.
Yeah,
pretty sure that's already happened.
But how many times do freaking scouts get it wrong? Wow, you're acting like scouts are like Jesus over here. They're not.
Yeah, but I'll tell you right now, they definitely have scouts at every game. My brother-in-law, my sister's husband, he scouts for the Pirates, and I'm pretty sure the Yankees. I think Yankees are one of his organization. He goes from top to bottom. He goes see them a week at a time, But I think at some point you got to you can't have a guy that big, that powerful, that strong, that athletic, that top of a prospect. You have to at some point before you let somebody else take him and he turns into a perennial all-star and you have egg on your face the rest of your life, they're going to give him a shot to fail or succeed or be mediocre, whichever one it is. I don't know. Obviously, I'm telling you right now, with them being what they're 20-10 right now, 20-11 or whatever they are.
2011, 2012, something like that.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, as long as they're 9, 10, 12, 15, 20 games above 500, he probably won't get a shot unless a couple guys get hurt. But they start getting to be 500, 5 games below 500, 10 games. If they get 10 games below 500, he's going to be in the outfield, and they're going to find out. Because at the end of the day, if they're going to lose, you might as well lose with some young guys who's going to maybe, that's when you take Grisham and say, hey, Grisham, it's really great, but we stink this year with 10 games over 500. We're going to see if this kid can play up here or not. And he's going to play 5 out of 6 days or 6 out of 7 days. And he's going to play against lefties. He's going to play against righties. He's going to play everything, but he might not play a day game after a night game, but he's going to get his at-bats. And so at the end of the day, y'all probably hopefully don't come up, because that means if he doesn't come up, it's because obviously the outfield's rocking and rolling and the team's rocking and rolling.
I mean, don't forget, I want to talk about last year too. He wound up not getting when the Yankees were going through their funk in the middle during the summertime. That's when Spencer Jones was killing it down AAA, and they didn't even give him a sniff at that point either. When they could have made the change, when they could have said, you know what, we need a spark, we need something else. Let's bring the kid up there. Wasn't even on their radar to be called up. So that's the type of thing that tells me like they're erring on the side of caution. Like maybe he's not in our future plans like we thought he would be, but he's not there. And Dave, to your point before about killing it in spring training, we've talked about this before, but Anthony Volpe killed it in spring training. The spring training is there for a lot of times just for pitchers to get a lot of work in there. Scott can definitely talk about this better than what I could however I can articulate this, but there's a lot of times that pitchers are not throwing in sequences. They're working on pitches. They want to get their fastball right. They want to get a cutter right. They want to get a changeup correct. So they'll throw that pitch numerous amounts of times. And just because we can tee off on them, that's great. Like showing off the power. But obviously when there's a difference that's coming in where he can't recognize the pitching sequences that are being thrown to him.
And the opposite could happen too. They could bring him up and he could light the world on fire.
That he could do that too. Yeah, they called up. Remember, Gary Sanchez came up. He came up for a cup of coffee, got sent back down. Then when they brought him up for in August, like he just killed it.
I mean,
he almost damn near made the All-Star team. They brought him up in June.
Look at it.
They brought him up for a cup of coffee and then sent him back down. Then he came up in August.
No, in 2016 when they traded McCann, they brought him up for the rest of the year.
They brought him up to face when Garrett was Sale. It was against Chris Sale. They brought him up against Sale, sent him back down, and then they brought him up again in August, and he almost won the Rookie of the Year because he went on a tear and hit 20 home runs in like 6 weeks, and came in number 2 in the Rookie of the Year against who was the pitcher? It was Casey Mize, I think it was from Detroit. And Casey Mize had an okay year, but because of the fact that Gary Sanchez was there for 6 weeks, everyone was like, "No, we can't. We would love to. We can't give him the Rookie of the Year."
Yeah, and then also bringing up people early and everything like that. It's not like the Yankees don't even do that even more recently. Like, remember J Dom when they had that season about 2 or 3 years ago, they brought up J Dom in August to start playing out there because they knew the season was already a wrap. Just to see what he has. It's not like it's not going to happen. So there's ways for Spencer to come on up. But to the way Scott said it, I don't want to see him up. So if I don't have to see him up, there's no worries. Like, let's just be real. If I don't see him, there's no worries on the team. If I'm seeing him, I know we've already broken glass in case of emergency.
That's right. Or a couple guys have gotten hurt, which you don't see that either,
Exactly. Things happen.
Well, I don't think we can close out tonight without talking about the 2 managerial firings that happened this week.
Are they Yankees? No, I don't care about them.
Pam Schlittler went into Fenway and basically handed 3/4 of the Red Sox coaching staffs their pink slips. Now maybe the kids in Boston will get to eat. And then Robbie Thompson let go by the Phillies. Don Mattingly replaces him. And as Alex said before we started the show, they're on a 2-game heater. Since
that was Mark.
That was me.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah. The Boston one obviously is the funnier story considering the fact that Alex Cora, from all intents and purposes, he wasn't the problem. It was their GM is a schmuck and gave him a really bad team. Like, not a really bad team, but he didn't turn around and didn't give him all the pieces and it kept on saying it was it's tough to do. They turned around, they had a third baseman in Alex Bregman that wanted to be there and turned around and said, "No, we're not going to give you a couple extra perks." And he went ahead and got them from the Cubs and left with the quickness went to Chicago. And the Red Sox were there holding their what's in their hand, wondering what went wrong. So, and then to turn around and then ownership doesn't even bother talking to the team. You have the VP of the president of baseball operations not talking to the team. You have Breslow who's sitting there going, this is more for you guys to listen to what we're saying. There's no questions on why. That does not seem like a place that anybody wants to be right now. So listen, I couldn't care less. Let the kids starve in Boston. Let Fenway Park fall down. Let everybody fall. Let the whole franchise crumble because it seems like the owners don't care. They'd rather deal with Liverpool or the Pittsburgh Penguins or whatever else that They sold the Penguins. Cool.
Yeah, last
So
year.
whatever other sports franchises they've gotten themselves into, they don't care about the Red Sox, and it's a shame because it's good when the Red Sox are good. It's good when the Yankees are good, so that this rivalry can really take off. Even though it's never going to be like it used to be, like the hatred is not going to be there.
No,
but it's good when you have teams like that. It's good when it's good when the Mets are good. It's good when the Phillies are good. Baseball's better when that happens. When the Cubs, when the Dodgers, when the Giants, like those big teams, when they are good, it's great for the sport. So the fact that the Red Sox are not good, yes, as a fan, I revel in that because I like to kick them when they're down. But for the sport in total, it stinks. As for the Phillies, that's a different animal in of itself because it's a very that is a very veteran laden team, and that they like listen. The fat lady is beginning to start singing over there, so they need to right the ship, and they need to right the ship fast. And funny enough, Alex Cora gets fired from Boston. The wrong person gets fired in Boston. They fired Rob Thompson. Who's the first phone call that gets made to? Dombrowski calls out Alex Cora to come take over. And Alex like, I got to take a step back for a minute. And then they give it to Mattingly. So it's not like I'm not dissing Mattingly, but there was a pecking order involved there where Dombrowski wanted Cora there, and Cora stepped away for. It's like, I'm going to stay with my family. And they might just be like, hey, I just want to look at the lay of the land at the end of the season because there's going to be a lot of openings. Maybe he turns around at the end of the season like, no, I'm going to go to Philly. Maybe he's not. Who knows?
Or he ends up with the Yankees.
Good.
Well, the Met GM has to have some cojones to actually fire him.
It's that's baseball, okay? Like that's really it. And you're not wrong. Baseball having the Red Sox doing good is good for baseball for the fact of the matter that it keeps rivalries heated and it keeps eyes on screens. Like that's what's going to help it. And if the Red Sox continue on this trend that they're wishy-washy, I wouldn't be shocked that eventually even baseball will force them to sell the team to make it more competitive again. So that way to help out the league as a whole, because that's one thing that has to happen. That's one of Manfred's jobs, how to make sure that the league is surviving and everyone wants to be watching the game and everything like that. No one's going to be like, oh, Yankees, Red Sox. Oh, game's over and it's already in the first inning. No one wants that. They wanted to be seeing that fight until 7th, 8th inning.
No doubt. I think Cora's going to have plenty options next year. I think he obviously – I don't know if he even saw it coming, to be honest, because it kind of shocked me. Because at the end of the day, everybody in Boston knows they don't have a very good team. They weren't expecting to have a very good team, and you can't expect a manager to polish a turd and make it a masterpiece. You know what I mean? So, but sometimes things happen like that. It's a blessing for him because obviously, as much as he probably enjoyed being in Boston, if you're not going to get support from your front office and from your ownership, I mean, the guy's a good coach. The guy's a good manager. You know what I mean? Played for a long time, and he's Spanish. He's a very smart guy. He's Spanish speaking, which he checks all the boxes. You know, he speaks great English. So just so many boxes that he checks. Somebody, trust me, there are going to be plenty of teams coming calling for him, and there might be a few. Somebody else may get fired who's not a bad coach to be replaced by him, which. When that happens, it just shows you how good of a coach he is. But the other thing I want to talk to y'all about, I keep seeing on the internet, y'all don't talk about, is Gary Cole's gut. He looks like me out there in some of these pictures.
Him and Rodon.
I'm just trying to figure out if y'all just trying to hide that or y'all talked about that. Maybe talked about. Maybe y'all talked about it last week.
Listen, he's eating good. He's eating good right now.
I was like,
hopefully the new windup. So you know what, Scott, we got you here. I want to ask you. That's something I want to ask you about. So Garrett Cole has a new windup. So he's now going. He's going overhead. Can you talk about the different, like what that does for you, and will that, as the season progresses, will that kind of put more wear and tear on him as a pitcher?
I don't think it'll put more wear and tear. It's more you do it more for rhythm. Obviously Nolan Ryan was a big over the head guy, over his head guy. that kind of went away with old school. Most pitching coaches don't like that, but it's kind of just something to kind of get you going. You know what I mean, type of thing. I did it in high school, and when I got to college, my college coach told me, stop doing that because you're going to throw 100 pitches, and again, that means 100 times you got to go over your head and back. But it was very comfortable for me. Then I got to Detroit in 1998. I was struggling. I stunk. I was like one of the worst pitchers in the league, and I went back and tried it. I was like, you know what? Let me try something different. So I don't think he really needed it, but if he's more comfortable doing it, it's something that it was just a good rhythm for me. I like going over my head, and obviously coming down is the key because some guys like to go up and then, so it just basically kind of, as long as he's getting back to the same gathering point. But obviously he must like it because he said I saw on Twitter that he said basically he started messing around with it playing catch and he really didn't like it. So I guess we'll see.
And Scott, on your whole thing about him gaining weight and all that kind of stuff, it worked out for CC, so I'm not gonna be worried too much.
That's right. That's right.
But CC, overweight pitcher,
overweight lover in the house.
Overweight pitchers all day long.
Yeah, and now CC skinny. It's like, okay.
Exactly.
Hey, don't forget Dave Wells. David Wells was like that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
That he was.
Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for the engagement. We will see you again next Tuesday. For Mark, Alex, and Scott, it's David, Bronx Muchachos. We'll see you next week.
Later.
Peace.
Have a good one.
Peace.